Now it's time for today's perspective. And my guest today is an artist who's really riding off the back of a wave of recognition of her talents. Malak Mattar has seen her work on display at the world-renowned Arts and Design College in London, central St Martin's. She became the first Palestinian artist to ever have a solo show by a Palestinian artist at the college. Her exhibition, Falasteen, from Arabic, meaning the equivalent Palestine, challenging, she says, rage, love and hope into her paintings. Malak Mattar is also author of the book Sitti's Bird, A Gaza Story. We'll talk about that in a moment, but let's talk about the exhibition first of all. Thanks very much for being with us. Congratulations as well. While we talk, we're going to look at some pictures that you've taken of the exhibition, but tell us about it. I mean, what was your aim in creating it?
My aim for the show was my way of calling the school to make a statement on the genocide. I left Gaza a day before October 7th to pursue my Master's of Fine Art at Central St. Martin's. And I was horrified by the lack of statements and by the lack of any political action, any political meaningful action. And this exhibition is a way to say that we as Palestinians exist and we have the right to live and to live in freedom and dignity. And that's what was the show about. It was a call for life and a call for equality and dignity.
As you said, you left Palestine just the day before the October the 7th attacks. I mean, presumably you still have family who are left behind in Gaza.
I still have so many family back home. Yesterday, I heard the news that 10 members of Mattar family, who's my family, have been killed. Just upon arriving to the southern part of the Gaza Strip, where they were told to evacuate. I still have family remaining trapped in the northern part of the Gaza Strip, in the Gaza city. So I'm very heartbroken watching the news of my own people and my own town being reduced to rubble. But I'm also motivated by what I'm doing as an artist to bring Palestine always into the forefront of the art world, which doesn't really talk about Palestine.
How difficult is it to continue your work when you know what's going on at home?
Well, I don't have, growing up in the Gaza Strip, I have no place for despair or giving up. I wake up every day with a mission that I, as a 25 years old, have the mission, but have also the right to speak up for my own people through my work. And yeah, I'm motivated always by the truth. And I have, as an artist, the ways and methods and mediums to say that.
It's very different works looking at the images as they pass through. Some of them appear very loving, very caring. Others are much harder. Is that deliberate?
Well, after 7th of October, I remember I was completely paralyzed. My family was still evacuating from a place to another under bombardment, and they were starved for a long time. And I just couldn't see colors anymore. I couldn't interact with colors, although I bought the colors that I normally work with. But I knew that it's probably the darkest moments for our history as Palestinians. And I needed my work to reflect that from my own intuition and instinct as a painter. But colors will come back because I believe in hope and action. And I also believe in the solidarity of millions, if not many millions of people for Palestine.
Let's talk about some of the rest of your work as well. Your book, first of all, Sitti's Bird, A Gaza Story. It's very much sort of a story about you, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I would say it is about us as Palestinian children who were not really in the books, our stories were not being told by us as authors and as artists and writers. But growing up in the Gaza Strip, I always went to the library and I always loved reading children books. And as a survivor of 5 Israeli wars, in 2021, in May, it suddenly hit me that there is no stories about us as Palestinian children in a war zone. And this is where the idea emerged. I was like, let the story start from a young girl who dreams to become an artist, who dreams to travel, with her work, but she gets interrupted, but she's always dreaming. And this story resonated with so many people around the world. It's been translated to many languages, and it's been in its fourth edition. And for me, it was so important to present the childhood that has been violated and has been really lost in the Gaza Strip, as half of the population in Gaza is children.
And I don't know how you found the time, but you were also the artistic curator of the Palestinian benefit concert that was held in Wembley recently. Tell us about that.
It's probably one of the most significant moments of my life. As a human being, I would say. I grew up with so many Palestinian paintings that shaped my identity and shaped my connection to Palestine. And to be able to bring these paintings into the concert for millions of people to watch and see was such an honor. One of these works was Gaza by Ismail Shammout. Other was by Layla Shawa, The Target. So I worked with around 15 visual artists and allocated a selection of paintings to every band, to every musician. So the night was really a Palestinian, it was focused on the Palestinian narratives through visual art, which is a prominent part of our lives as Palestinians.
Why do you think it's important, or why do you think it works, I suppose, to bring art into politics in this way?
I would say art is our humanity. And as I come personally, I come from a family that has decades history of art heritage and art making in different shapes, whether it's art education, whether it's calligraphy, visual arts. And it was always a language. It was our language to communicate through visual paintings and to also communicate through the symbols of Palestine, whether it's orange, whether it's olive trees, whether it's the keys. And these symbols develop into such a strong meaning for us as Palestinians. I would say art is art, whether the world sees it as political, but for me, as I see it as a way of resistance, as a way of resisting the occupation in all means by simply being us as a human beings with all mix of emotions and attitudes and feelings and anger and love. So art is a language, and it has always been our language. As me growing up, I always grew up with paintings and poetry and literature.
Just time to ask you one last question. I mean, the news this week has been dominated very much by the UK at the weekend, France during the week, a series of other countries as well, recognising Palestine as a separate state. Does that help in any way? Does that give you confidence that there is a future?
There is a future because we want a future as people. Like, we would love to have a life and to have a dignified life in our land. I would love to go back to Gaza, and I would love to continue working on my studio, which doesn't exist anymore. So there's always a future because there's a will to live and grow and have, as I said, have a life, have a free life. I see recognition as such a remarkable step toward a life for Palestinians, but it's very missing without tangible actions, which starts with taking actions to stop this genocide, to stop it from happening, to stop the bloodshed. Estimated number of 100 Palestinians get killed every single day. And this needs to stop first and foremost, to start even considering the future and thinking about planning and dreaming. So I call for these countries to take action and stop the genocide now.
Good to talk to you on the programme today. Thank you very much for being with us. Malak Mattar, author of the book Sitti's Bird, A Gaza Story, and we saw a lot of your beautiful artwork as well. So thanks very much for coming in and joining us on the programme today, Tay.